Hallo meine Freunde in Deutschland und im deutschsprachigen Raum vom Château de Lalande. Neue Episode. Es ist unglaublich heiß, 35 Grad, 36 Grad jeden Tag. Sommerhitze und Erntezeit auch noch.
Bonjour à tous, bienvenue à Gîte de Château de Lalande sur le territoire de la commune de Saint-Baudel.
And now to English-speaking friends from around the world, it's incredibly hot and welcome to the Château de Lalande.
Yeah.
It's 35, 36 degrees and it's about, mid-90s, 96, 97.
Yeah.
And before our friends in the United States say, well, that's not that hot. Well, most of you have air conditioning, we do not.
Nope.
So we have a couple of rooms down here that really stay nice and cool. But the bedrooms upstairs, some of them are actually quite toasty.
They are, yes.
So, and it's harvest time, hence those.
Right, and we'll talk about that later in this
Yes.
episode, right? But first, there was something that we discovered that
Yes.
was in our north wing of the chateau,
Yep.
and we were quite surprised to find it.
It was lovely.
It was.
That wing of the chateau is called the gardener's wing, which it's not actually really true. It was how it was named. It wasn't for the gardener. It's not a cottage. It's a whole wing. It's the original kitchen from the 1400s. It's already on the map then, and in the Napoleonic map, you can see that there's the additions that were built.
Yeah, and just that first part of that building
Yes.
was only the part that was there, and that was where the original kitchen to the chateau was.
Right, and then it was expanded, so it was the scullery for the kitchen. The sink, we have still a alcove in the wall where the old sink was, but so that's now a whole scullery. And if you watch Downton Abbey, you will know that this was the old, or you will understand what I mean when I said it was the old servants' hall. So it was a big kitchen and fireplace going every day, all day, cooking for 30 to 50 people, depending on what time of year it was. And then there are multiple bedrooms and a hallway, and the door is closed. We're going to drill through there so we know we're going to reinstate doors and windows on this side of the chateau.
Into the courtyard, right?
Yes, so that is fascinating. Thank goodness there's hardly any work.
No, not at all. So what there was, strangely, there were two doors
From one room.
that went from one room to another. The doors were side by side to each other. One was a shorter door, and one was a taller door. The taller door actually was the one that had been kind of closed off, which really didn't work for us, did it?
No, I hit my head a couple of times.
No. So what we had decided to do was we were going to open up the taller door. So whenever we went over to that wing of the chateau and we had to go through, it was a lot more convenient to go through the doorway.
Yes.
Right. So what happened is that we made a discovery when we were opening up the taller door.
Yep.
How is this? God, absolutely stunning. And this was just on the door then?
Yeah, and it was actually covered up because it was facing the glass, and then there was a curtain up, so you couldn't even see it unless you like opened the curtain up.
Yeah. God. Are you going to try and recreate it? Like?
Yeah, and so if you look, you can see that like here is the deer head, and so it's a full repeat from
brilliant.
top to bottom,
Yeah.
and here's the ducks with the wings, and then there's the other part of their wings coming out over there. So it is actually a full piece with the repeat in it.
Brilliant. God. Beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah, so still I need to look up all this information that was here. And I think on the back somewhere there's actually like a stamp from whatever company had sold it.
Yeah. Oh God. So where will you reuse it?
I don't know. I think what Rob said is that, if we can find, a way to just frame it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
To conserve it in some kind of acid-free, and just get it in a big frame.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Well done for getting it all off.
The company that made this, and it's printed on it, it's the papier peint Rochefort, so a wallpaper company in Paris called Rochefort. They're no longer in existence. They were in the 15th arrondissement, or the 15e, and
They also made a fabric version of this as well.
well, yes, so it comes as a fabric in multiple colors, and since this is a perfect repetition, Stuart assumes that it is actually a sample that was sent for purposes of repapering.
Right? Approval for before purchase, perhaps? I don't know.
Yeah, and
Maybe,
it's because it's a perfect repetition, and it's just lovely.
It is.
So maybe we can at one point we'll have a room where we can actually order that and have at least the wallpaper.
Yeah.
That would be lovely.
Yeah, it would.
It was found here, so maybe we can run with it.
Sure.
Maybe not.
Sure. So the other thing that we've had this week, this sort of held up our renovations a little bit, is
Completely,
that
actually.
it was completely actually, is that we have ripe produce on the property, and so when you have things like the peaches are ready and they're already falling off the trees, you really have to stop what you're doing.
Yes.
And you have to change gears.
Yes.
Right?
It's not like you say, well, I get to this in 2 weeks. No. They're going to be rot or gone or eaten. Not happening. So.
And we had previously, it was the red peaches that we had.
Yes.
They were ready earlier.
Yes.
Right.
And so quite a bit earlier.
Right. And so these were the white peaches, which is quite a much more abundant
harvest on
fruit producing tree.
Yes.
Yes.
So, hence that.
Yes.
That's Peach Bellini Jam or Peach Bellini Marmelade, depending on how you want it, or confiture. Pick your pick, what term you want to use. But it's Peach Bellini, so it has Cointreau in it, and a clock that chimes. It has peaches in it, and at the end, when you're done cooking, it has. Since we are not in Italy, where you would use prosecco, but here we used Crémant d'Alsace, so it is a sparkling wine from the Alsace region of France. It's very dry, and it bubbles up beautifully. It was actually a lot of fun to do this, but. I'm not sure. I think it's 20 kilos. So it's 44 pounds of jam.
Yes.
Anyway, so welcome. You saw us picking the peaches this morning at 8. It's very hot and you don't want to be out there. I'd just like to mention Sarah from Manor and Maker made these and gave them to us as a gift, these aprons. It's a reverse toile de Jouy, and we just love them. So I have washed the peaches, lost my speech in the process apparently. And now it's time to get them all nicely cleaned out, pitted so to speak. Any blemishes you cut out usually. And that will take about, I don't know, but how many peaches did we have? 20 kilos or something?
Last time?
No, today.
Yes, today, yes.
Yeah, about 20 kilos. So that will take me a while. So we're going to do this very, very fast.
Very fast.
Okay, there are in this pot 6 kilos worth of pitted and cleaned and cut up peaches, and peaches have basically no pectin at all. So, since I do not like jam juice, but I like my jams to be a little congealed so they don't run off the toast, I'm using a product that's called 3-to-1. That also means I only use 1/3 of the sugar that would normally be in marmalade. So I would normally add 6 kilos of sugar to this, but in this case I only use 3 kilos. So it's far less sweet, far less calories. But because it is the Bellini jam that I'm making, what I will add is about 400 or 320 milliliters of Cointreau. So it gives that nice orangey flavor. And once it is actually cooked up, I will add the French crémant. That is kind of like a French version of Prosecco. And some people might scream it. No, it's actually made like champagne, but can't be called champagne because it's not from the Champagne region. So this is 6 kilos. I have another 3.5. So it's almost 10 kilos. It's 22 pounds of fruit. And I have discovered this morning with Stuart, we have at least another 20-30 kilos. Yes. We're not done anytime soon, but we will have a few days in between these harvests. And let's see how these all turn out. Now, one thing, be very careful when you make jams like this, because you don't want them to burn. So that's constant, you can't walk away from your jams. You can walk away for a little bit from chutneys, but not from jam or marmalade. Okay, so in this pot I added to the 6 kilos of peaches, now that they started to boil, I added 3 kilos of sugar. There's the Cointreau in here. And so now we just let that come to a simmer. Make sure it doesn't burn. I'm good at that, so don't follow that example. There's sometimes pieces where the skin discolors a bit more. Just take them out. It's fine, not that there's anything wrong with them. It's just not that attractive. And so I'm going to get these both to come to a nice simmer. You don't need a rolling boil, but it needs to simmer for at least 10 minutes. So the peaches get all nice soft, and I puree them then a little bit because I like the consistency of it. That is completely up to you. Okay. Whoppa, okay, parade. Whoppa. So, as I said, I like this to be a bit smoother. I think that's fun enough. That was only about half of the peaches we have.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and abundance is a wonderful thing, and we're very blessed. However, I'm kind of done making jam, and so we took some of the jam to Stephanie and Philip at the Château de Lalande to try. Terry and Ash have some with them, and we are going to distribute a lot of them around our friends and family. So let's see what they think. And one thing we do not ever have enough is the jars. So I went with cousin Frauke to the country store to actually buy more jars, and that was I think about 120 euros just.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, good Lord, how do people actually make this work? In any
right,
way.
if you are actually going to try to sell these full jars of jams and jellies and marmalades, I don't know how people do that if they have to buy those jars because you would have to charge so much in order to get any money back on this.
But I can tell, one thing I know is it does taste delicious.
It is good.
And it's nothing you can buy at your regular supermarket, because this is just a very different kind of a jam. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But so with the rest of the jam, our figs are ripening. Oh, peaches, not the jam. There won't be jam. There will be. But anyways, with the rest of the peaches, what I'm going to do is put them in with the figs and make peach fig
chutney. Yes.
So that's going to be interesting. And I can honestly say last year we made so much chutney. We hardly have anything left from last year's harvest. So that is something that just flies off the proverbial shelves. And it's fantastic. Everyone loves it. So that is something I'm very much looking forward to do. What else?
So we recently had a wonderful afternoon at Lalande. We went there with Terry and Ash, and we drove down there to see Stephanie and Philip, and Nati actually was there as well.
Yes, and I arrived much later because I mistakenly tried to pick up cousin Frauke at the train station in Bourges a day before she actually arrived. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
However, so
if you want to see more of that visit, you can check that out on Chateau Diaries.
So Frauke is here. That means wallpaper is a-going.
It's coming down.
There's a room above the kitchen, which is a beautiful, relatively speaking, small bedroom. The wallpaper lost the battle with Frauke. It's gone.
Yeah, and I have to say, I didn't really mind the wallpaper in that room.
No.
If it would have been in really good condition, I think we might have left that wallpaper.
Well, you know, let's just say a cigar chain smoker does not help
No.
any wallpaper. It was
so brown.
brown, and so it unfortunately needs to go, and it's quite frankly, so that wallpaper's already gone.
Right.
Because you can't stop Frauke. And it's it always, you walked in there and it always smelled like old cigar scent. I mean, it's ugly. And anyway, so now you walk in there and it's gone.
Yeah.
So it's lovely. And she already told us that she is pitying us for wallpapering that room because there is not, it's buckled, it is crooked.
Right.
So it's going to be a disaster to wallpaper. And I'm very much looking forward to doing it.
Right. And so we will have a little bit more next week in one of the episodes about sort of a before wallpaper, after wallpaper, so you can see what those look like.
Before Frauke and after Frauke.
Exactly. And we are expecting any time now.
Yes.
We're getting our delivery from Little Green Company.
Yes. So it's including wallpaper and paints. And so it's really, it's fantastic. And quite frankly, right now, upstairs, Frauke does steaming off wallpaper. Mm-hmm. It is 36 degrees, so way over mid-90s. And she is standing there.
With a hot steamer. Oh, man. We keep her hydrated.
That's true. And we said, why don't you do you want to do something else? Said, nope.
Nope, that's what she wants to do.
It's we're not forcing anyone to do anything.
Right.
She is the Energizer Bunny that is mentioned in the dictionary. I mean, you just can't stop her, and it's fantastic to have her here.
Right. So, if you like this episode, please give us a thumbs up.
And Frauke.
And give Frauke a thumbs up.
Yes.
For all the work she's doing. Absolutely. Yes.
It helps us tremendously, and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, but it helps us a lot.
Yes. If you want to support the renovation of the Chateau, you can join us on Patreon.
Or buy us a coffee.
And we will see you on Wednesday.
That is true.
Au revoir.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this video, please use the like feature to let us know. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Journey to the Chateau YouTube channel if you would like to see more. Once you've subscribed, you can tap the notification bell in order to ring it, which will allow you to receive all notifications from our channel. Thank you.